Welcome to another episode of Top 5 with me. Can you imagine a world without Mario, The Last of Us without Joel and Ellie? No, neither can I. That's why I think good characters are the bread and butter of what makes gaming good. The guests with me today are Kieran Marchant.
Hey, it's me again.
And from the illustrious House of Mario podcast, Drew Agnew.
Hey guys, thank you very much for having me.
Not a problem, thank you for being on. So this week I want to discuss your top 5 gaming characters, what they mean to you, and a little bit about them. I'm going to start with our very special guest. What is your first character, Drew?
I'm not going to beat around the bush. Going to jump straight to Mario.
Gonna get the predictable one
Out of the way. Yeah. I think it goes without saying that Mario's obviously one of, if not the most iconic video game character. He's so versatile in the amount of games he can star in, whether it's an RPG, platformer, go-kart racer, party game, fighter, whatever game it is, he can fit into that. And it's just so, I don't know, just good old Mario.
Iconic?
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can see that. He's a very, you can plug him in anywhere and he fits perfectly.
Yeah, just so joyful too. So if you've had a bad day at work or whatever it might be, you can always rely on Mario to cheer you up.
I especially love the Gears of War Mario edition.
Yeah.
Where he's out there chainsawing up windows and stuff.
Well, I just didn't. I need to see this. For me, were you outraged, Drew, when they took that Mario was a plumber out of the description?
Not
because
really.
there was a lot of outrage.
No, I wasn't.
There was a lot of outrage that poor Mario.
It just made me think.
Was no longer a plumber.
He's always had that title, but I've literally never seen him do anything that any way resembles a plumber.
He goes down pipes all the time.
He goes down pipes. That's about it, I think. Haven't seen him do any work. He just sort of jumps around, doesn't he?
In fact, the most plumbing work he's ever done is in that Bob Hoskins movie.
Yeah. Which was weird. That's why the movie was so weird, because it's like, oh, he's actually like a plumber in a van doing his job. Okay.
With the plumber's crack and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it, Mario.
Yeah, Mario's an excellent choice, I think. What is your first one, Kieran?
What's my first one? My first one is going to be another one that's slightly out of left field.
Here we go.
We're doing it already. We're going there. But he is a main character. He is a main character, and he's one of my favourite characters. This is Guybrush Threepwood from the Monkey Island series. So it hasn't been in prominence for a little while now. There was some PC games that were released. It's from one of the... Yeah, there was some Telltale ones released when they got the license off LucasArts. And... it's such a good game. Like, just all of the Escape from Monkey Island games were in some of my favourite adventure games when I was growing up as a kid. Some of the most infuriating puzzles in any games was in that thing. Just the fact that... But the fact that Guywood is just one of those characters that's just lovable and unlikely in every situation. And this character is thriving well in this world of pirates where... every kind of form of like sword fighting, arm wrestling is all insult based. So everything is done through insults, and he just does it so well. And they're never badly written insults. They're always on point. Mind the pun. But he's such a good character. He's funny. And he stood the test of time when he evolved through being the 2D pixel art character into a full 3D model of a character, and really gets up to a lot of mischief, and I love that about that character.
How did you feel about the end of Monkey Island 2 where it's revealed that he's just a kid retelling all these stories to his family?
I kind of love it.
Yeah.
It fits so well. Because there's almost like that childlike innocence to that character.
Yeah.
That always, and it's, you can kind of see that through, maybe there's another project we're doing where somebody's telling a tale. Is it real? Is it, is it all made up? We don't know, but there's a lot of good things, and that just brings a very intricate part to that game that I don't think many people pick up on. That, what is just what is embellished by a kid's imagination? Like, what is... It makes a lot of things make sense that is just entirely weird about those games.
Definitely. I think what holds him back from being such a good character, because he's a terrific character for the mainstream. It's just those adventure game puzzles, just the biggest thing stopping you from enjoying them.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
No, they're not. You get to the point where you stop being frustrated at the answers being so stupid.
And then you just look up the answers on an FAQ.
Well, no, you just start, spending 5 minutes at a time combining every object in every possible combination.
Yeah, we're not
And just
getting
hope for
into
the
bad
best, and
game
sometimes it
mechanics
works.
in this podcast, but we'll just
No.
leave it at that. Do you have
I
any?
haven't-
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry,
sorry.
go ahead, Drew.
I haven't actually played the Monkey Island games, but I've heard good things about them. Yeah, but what does put me off is just that sort of like, let's just throw everything at the wall, see what happens, and not actually have like
See
a
what
logical.
sticks, and it totally is.
Yeah.
Adventure games, eh? Thank God for
Oh,
Telltale.
that's great.
All right,
Yeah.
my first one is GLaDOS from Portal. She is the perfect antagonist to me, I think. Like, she just gives you the motivation to go through the whole game. Like, if that game didn't have an antagonist like GLaDOS, I can see it getting boring very quick, but where she's insulting you and egging you on, and you get the desire to prove her wrong each time that you can actually do it, and you're not just like a worthless meatbag or test subject 300 and something. And the whole thing about the cake at the end, it being a lie and all that, it's just, at the end when you get the ultimate satisfaction of besting her too, like watching her melt down and all that, I think it's just fantastic. And she is one of the best video game villains there is, making her one of my favourite characters.
She was a pretty good sidekick in Portal 2. I would love GLaDOS more if Wheatley had never been a thing, because Stephen
Marchant.
London.
No?
Marchant. Oh my god, it's Stephen Merchant, because it's like my name. I don't know why it's my name, but
That's
Merchant.
right, I can edit this out
It's
of
okay.
post.
Just why are you shaking your head? Yeah, you're gonna edit this. Thanks, man. Stephen Merchant, because his portrayal, I love Wheatley just a bit more than I love GLaDOS. But I remember just for that first game, her dry humor and wit, and just there's nothing worse than trying to do something that's really frustrating, than trying to do something really frustrating while somebody really negative or some stupid smartass is just in the corner. It's like, if I'm trying to make a great podcast and I've got Dylan Blight watching me do it the entire time, making snide comments, it's just off-putting.
Yep. It is. Do you have any experience with Portal or GLaDOS, Drew?
I haven't actually played them. I hate to say.
Because
I saw Dylan's reaction to that too. Not Dylan, Kieran.
No!
Yeah.
Dylan's reacting the same. It's okay.
Yeah. I feel horrible. Like,
Ouch.
I don't know. What year did Portal 2 come out?
I want to say 2011?
2012? 11.
Yeah. Kieran,
It's
check
later than you think it is. Give me a second.
Yeah, because I think I got my PS3 2012, so
Yep.
that could have been
Oh,
why
that's
I missed
fair.
it.
Portal 2 came out 2011.
Yeah.
Look at me. I am fantastic.
You're alright.
I definitely suggest going, even just checking them out. Like, your PC could run them these days as well, even if you wanted to pick them up cheap. Like, they're quick and I think they're good, and they test your
I think I
problem
actually own
solving
them.
skills.
I think I actually
do?
own them on Steam. Just
dear.
got it for like $1 or something, whatever it was at the time.
There you go. Perfect.
They're such
stream
good
game.
games, and just going through those, like Valve. I miss Valve making like story-based games so much. That's why I was so happy about. There was news recently that they've got like 8 new IPs or something in the works currently,
I'll see.
which makes me super happy, because their writing and their style in these games is so fantastic. Even though Portal was so different, you still felt that kind of Valve Half-Life-esque character to it.
Yep.
And I think, definitely play through them. They're fantastic puzzle games on their own, but the story around them makes it so much better.
Definitely. All right, Drew. What is your next game character?
At the moment, I'm playing through Life is Strange Before the Storm. Finally picked it up on sale.
Yes.
And it reminded me why I love the first game, and that's because of Chloe Price.
Yep.
At the start, you don't like her because she's a real abrupt teenager, but as you go on, you really feel for the character, all the shit she's gone through, and even at the end of the game, like I was thinking about this the other day, I'm like, fuck, nothing got better for that poor girl.
I've always
It
said
got
that Life is
much
Strange
worse.
is a fuck Chloe simulator.
Yeah, it's just like, it's so terrible. It's like, holy shit, how much? I'm sure there's people out there that's gone through worse than that, but holy crap. Yeah, I won't go into any spoilers, but
I hella agree.
Yeah.
hella.
Hella.
Paul's gonna love this episode.
Paul's gonna love the episode. He was complaining.
He hates hella.
Yeah.
That's the word.
No, I agree.
He
I
hates
think
the word
Chloe
hella.
Price
He
is up
gets
there
over
for
it.
me. She didn't quite make my list personally, but I think out of all the characters in that series, she's also the most relatable, where I found Max personally to be too much head in the clouds and like not quite grounded enough, whereas Chloe seems to go through the most relatable. Obviously, I haven't had a parent die and go through all that, but she seems a lot more real to me.
Yeah. Well, I guess the game focuses a lot more on it. Like, at the end, you don't really know a whole lot about Max.
No, that's
really.
true.
Like, so it's all focusing on trying to help Chloe, trying to save her from situations, and
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I agree
It's a
with that. I
really
hadn't thought of
interesting
it like that,
point.
but that's a good way.
Yeah. I've never thought about the fact that you pretty much know nothing about Max.
You know nothing about a family.
That-
you know nothing about anything.
Like you don't, you don't really know her family very well. You don't. There's nothing there to kind of really fill you in on what like Max's past too much, other than she used to live here. She moved to Seattle. She came back. She likes photography.
Yeah.
She likes.
Yeah, she's got random
angsty
rewind
music.
powers all of a sudden.
Yeah,
And
there's
yeah.
It makes like just Chloe throughout, especially I didn't feel as connected to Chloe in the first series until after I played Before the Storm.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because, like, Before the Storm fills in so much that you didn't know. Because, during the first few episodes of Life is Strange, the whole Rachel Amber thing is very abstract in a lot of ways because you don't really understand that relationship.
No.
You don't understand what, Chloe and Rachel Amber were. So to see that relationship grow and as characters and players, you can put your own twist on that relationship. Are they just friends? Are they more? What have they been through together? And it evolves very quickly and changes quite a lot.
Yeah, I always said Before the Storm was the game that I loved the most that I didn't realise that I needed. Because when it was first announced, I was like, no, we don't need a prequel. We don't need to know any of that. It was fine. But after playing it, I was so sold and was like, this is... I needed this, but I didn't think I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you're making decisions for her and you're like, oh yeah, this is nice, and then you see the cutscene play out, then you're like, oh no, this is gonna go to absolute shit. So like you know the happy ending's not coming.
Yeah, that's it. That's the hardest thing too. Like it's never gonna come.
Like I'm about to start episode 3.
Okay,
So I haven't finished the last episode yet. I was like, it's not.
Oh, I'm glad I haven't said anything then.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't go into anything Before the Storm. Okay.
Good one, Kieran.
Thanks, Kieran.
Goodness.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I could have said
Accidentally not
things.
spoiling.
For accidentally not spoiling. Hey, it's better than accidentally spoiling.
That's true. All right, Kieran Marchant, what is your next character?
Kieran Marchant. Well, I just realised something, and I'm kind of like half twisting stuff in my head. But no, I won't. I just broke my own heart and realised I don't have a Troy Baker character here. But that's fine. That's fine. He doesn't, I'm sorry, Troy, I still love you. Well, a character voiced by the actor. I don't know. It makes me sad.
You could just have
But-
Troy Baker as the character.
I could just have Troy Baker in everything. It's Snow from Final Fantasy 13. No. But I'm going to take one that's probably on one or two of your list, maybe. Nathan Drake from the Uncharted series. He is such a character that I'm so happy that for whatever reason Nolan North ended up. And that's what made me think of Troy Baker, was because when I was thinking just then about Nathan Drake, it's just when I see Nathan Drake or when I see Nolan North, I see the character perfectly. It's just the whole journey we went on with him through from Uncharted through to seeing, some flashbacks of his childhood, his sudden remembrance that he could use rope as a grappling hook, even though he hasn't been doing it for the last 10 years or whatever. Sure. God damn it, Nate. You have terrible memory. And then, for me, one of my most perfect gaming moments is the epilogue for Uncharted 4. Just because it rounds off just to have this character rediscovering Nathan Drake's life and rediscovering the things you've gone through with him is truly amazing. Like, it's something special. You feel... My biggest thing is, and it helped with Life is Strange for me, is when a game makes me feel connected with a character that makes me feel like I've been on the journey with them, and I have witnessed this character evolve from, the smart-ass, go-lucky, brash explorer and treasure hunter to this caring person that has gone through so much, even though, some of it's very outlandish and crazy. It's so cool. Like, he's a great character and really well written.
I'm on the opposite of that. I don't think he's a great character at all, to be honest. Like, I enjoyed the games. I enjoyed, like, the stories of the game, but I think it's the supporting characters that what make him great. Like, I don't think Nathan would be able to hold a story without Sully or Claire. No, not Claire. What was the Australian chick's name? I don't know.
Oh, the Australian chick. Yep.
Yeah, but
Nadine? No, it's not Nadine. Nadine's the South Africa. Okay. Chloe?
Yeah,
no, it's not Chloe. Yes, it is.
I don't know. I just find him boring as a character.
How? I don't understand. He's just got this lovable kind of, oh, for fuck's sake, kind of mentality to everything he does. There's not, there's no point where he seems to break down at the world, seeming to be forever against him. He just kind of continues to plod along, just being like, fucking hell, how did I get myself here again?
I think he reminds me a lot of a Han Solo type character, and I'm not a huge fan of Han Solo as a character, so I don't know if it's drawing parallels with that. That's negatively influencing my opinion, but yeah, I don't know. It's just, I love the games, but I didn't think Nate himself was a terrific character. What about you, Drew?
Yeah, I really like Nathan Drake. He's sort of half goofy, but kind of grounded at the same time.
Yeah,
and he's very strong. He can climb a lot of ledges. Let's not forget that. Especially in Uncharted 4, he has very strong arms.
He does.
He's amazingly strong.
Freakishly strong.
You just for some reason somehow made me think of Goofy cosplaying as Nathan Drake, and I need to see this in my life.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. All right.
Shut up, Kieran.
Yeah,
Let me move on.
Why do I invite you on?
I was thinking like Nathan Drake cosplaying as Goofy, but how does Goofy cosplay as Nathan Drake?
He has the clothes. He has like the shirt, the chain. He has like the gun holster. He has like the book. Scarf. Yeah, he's got maybe a bit of stubble. What's Goofy look like with a bit of stubble? Voiced by Nolan North saying "hook yook."
All right, my next one is Garrus from the Mass Effect series.
Yes.
I cannot imagine a party in Mass Effect without Garrus in it. He is the true ride or die companion. Like, he is always there for you. He always supports you in pretty much everything you do. Even in Mass Effect 2, you come back and you save him, and he takes a shot to the face, and he's all scarred, and he's still with you.
Spoilers
for those who haven't played Mass Effect 2. But yeah, like, every time I make a party, I cannot have him in it. I cannot not have him in it. So, I don't know. He's just always... It's weird to say, but he's always been there for my shepherd. And in that, he... I don't know, it sounds wanky, but he feels like a friend, if that makes sense.
My go-to party in Mass Effect 1 makes me sad that I was never able to go back to it, is Rex and Garrus.
Yeah, Rex is one.
Because
I was so annoyed that he wasn't in the other games.
Yeah, it just annoys me because Rex and Garrus just made me think of, the two complete opposite
Yeah.
ends of the spectrum. Like, you have chaotic good and lawful good, and me stood in the middle.
Yeah.
And it was always so fun. Like, just to imagine the scenarios of, like, Rex and Shepard going, like, balls deep into, like, a horde of enemies, and just Garrus, like, sighing for a second and then running in after them. Just,
Oh, I'm gonna have
just
to
makes
save
me
these idiots again.
like, I'm gonna fucking hell. Why am I with these idiots? And just that his entrance into it is number 2, isn't it? Where he's like the guardian angel.
Yeah, Archangel is the bounty hunter.
Yeah, he's the archangel.
With all the
was so
guys.
badass because you didn't know it was him.
Yeah, that's the best reveal too, because you didn't think that you were going to get him back at all. You didn't know what happened to him after the explosion and all that kind of stuff.
Yep, it was just the coolest thing to, hear about this archangel that's been, vigilanteing everything across the. I can't remember what that place is called. It's not Nowhere. Omega, yeah, he's been vigilanteing in Omega, and then you find out it's him. You're like, oh my god, Garrus, you're such a badass. Yes, and then he gets shot, and you get kind of sad, but he's fine. He's fine.
He is. He's ride or die with Shepard all the way.
No, this is the moment where Drewby says he's never played Mass Effect, and we cry again.
Yeah, I'm going to make you cry again.
No, he played the Mass Effect games on Wii U.
yeah.
I was waiting for it.
No, I've missed quite a few of those big games from last generation, unfortunately. But
That's fine. Drew.
sorry. So everyone who's listening, I'm sorry. I'll.
Oh, he's letting us. This is really not top 5 with Nick. It's top 5, like top 10 games that Drewby should be playing.
Yeah, pretty much. You have to rename the podcast this week.
That's right. I'll do it just for you, Drewby.
Just for
Wow, you wouldn't even do it for me?
No.
I asked him. He wouldn't change it. I'm on 100% of episodes so far. But it's still top 5 with Nick. It's not top 5 with Nick and Kieran. God damn it.
Maybe one day. Alright. Drewby, what is your next character?
Mine's going to be Red from the Pokemon series. In the actual games himself, all he is your little avatar. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So there's not too much character there, but
or in my case, he was my antagonist.
He's your antagonist.
So blue. Yeah.
No, right. Yeah. But if you look more into it, if you go to Gold and Silver, where you eventually verse him, it's so cool, like versing your past self, especially if you did play Red or Blue or Heart Gold, Soul Silver or whatever iteration of the game you're playing. It's awesome, like seeing your past character, and probably the place I don't know. This might discount it. I don't know, but they fleshed out his character a lot more in the Pokemon Adventures. Yeah, so that's really good. It actually gives him a personality, a voice, and he's pretty much the better version of Ash. Depending on how you feel about the Pokemon anime. But yeah, in Pokemon Origins as well, which was a sort of four episode movie. Equivalent of just going through the first games, the events and that. So,
okay, yeah. No, I can understand that. Like, because I never kept him as the original. You could rename him, couldn't you?
Yeah.
But like as an analog, I can totally relate to that because I don't know if it's so much him as a character, but me portraying, like putting myself in that world is him as my avatar was really cool to me. Like just being able to experience the whole games through him as well, and like you said earlier with Gold and Silver, getting through the Elite Four and then fighting him in the end was such a, for a kid at that age, was like, whoa, what the fuck's just happened?
Yeah,
this is cool. I played as him as the last game, but yeah, I can agree. He's a pretty good character. What about you, Kieran?
It honestly blew my mind when I found out for the first time that wasn't Ash Ketchum. Like, it blew my mind when I finally realised that was a different character. I was like, what?
I've
like,
been
what?
betrayed.
I've like, what? Because I think one of the options was you could choose to call him Ash or something, maybe?
I think
I can't remember.
I think it was
Isn't
in
it
there
in yellow
yellow,
he's Ash?
Possibly. I can't remember, but
Yeah.
I remember thinking it was Ash and then realized it was Red. But just that, it's really nice looking at the Pokemon universe as a whole. For just the gaming, in the earlier games, each game felt like its own isolated kind of bubble. Other than maybe a couple Pokemon that made it across, a lot of the games felt like this is their own world and stuff because you could only go to that region and that map. And so to play through, I played through Gold, and to finally get to him at the end of Gold, it kind of breaks down those walls a lot and brings everything together.
Yep.
And makes you understand that, this is a bigger world, like there's a lot more going on, and just there's a lot more to that character that I'm glad that they've explored that now. I'm glad that they have fleshed him out more because, Ash is the poster boy for Pokemon on like the main front, like the mainstream kind of front.
Well,
so
the anime was... I saw the anime before I ever played any of the games. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. So, to have something that, as Pokemon fans, you can be like, well, I'm a real Pokemon fan because I like red more. For you, Ash Ketchum. Like, it's nice to have kind of that cult following for Red.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, especially when you're like, okay, so you verse him, you win. Like, why is he up top of Mount Silver? Why would you just stay up there? And you find out that he's, he's become champion of Kanto. He comes to Johto to pretty much train and become better, and that's why he's up there. So it's like, okay, so there's a lot of backstory to him, even though he is just your silent avatar, pretty much you're playing through the first games.
See, I had never realised any of that's why he was there and all that. I just, because I haven't played a Pokemon game in many years, being at that age playing it then, I just thought like, oh, he's an end boss. Like, I never really thought too deeply about why he was there, what was going on, anything like that. But yeah.
I like that about games writing, that for those kinds of games that you don't have to dig too deeply as to why this character's here. Like, you can take it at face value that it was yours from the first game, it makes a cool boss, cool. But it's something that if you want to dig more for, there is more to dig for and more to find out about the journey of that character.
Yeah. Alright, Kieran, what's your next character?
Okay, my next character is going to be partially controversial as well. Because my next character is Dante from Devil May Cry. And I love the crap out of this character, but my favourite version of this character is the reboot version.
Same.
Yeah, my favourite version of the character is the reboot version,
Just
like the
episodes
DMC
right
Devil May Cry. I knew somebody wouldn't be happy. I played all the original Devil May Cries, and then so many people were angry at the new Dante. So angry. And I was so confused why people were angry. I'm like, this is the guy I remember. Except he's just a younger, brash teenager. Like, this is awesome. I remember the start. I can't remember if it's the start of Devil May Cry 1 where it just plonks you in this random bar brawl. And you just have to kind of go along with it. And he always has awesome entrances. But there was just something about DMC Devil May Cry's version that I really enjoyed. Even just like the small, breaking the fourth wall bits. There's a section early in the game where a mop breaks and the mop end falls on his head, and it makes it look like he's got the original Dante's hair, and he's like, ew, never, and throws it off. And that's so cool. And just with that game, the exploration of him finding his brother Virgil and how that relationship is different from the relationship we have in the earlier games is interesting. You know where it's going. You understand where it's going after all this. And just to have... That is the coolest reason why his hair is white. Like, it's like equivalent to...
Because I never played it, so it's part of the same storyline. It's just like a prequel.
It's kind of reworks the original storyline, but it goes in the same direction.
Right.
It just builds to it. It's like, it's as if the games, because Devil May Cry 1 through 4 were in a weird order. Because one of them was like, I think Devil May Cry... No, I think
I
there was a
believe it
Devil May
was.
Cry 4.
No.
There was another one where... Because there was one... I remember playing the first two, and it might be Devil May Cry 3, where Virgil rocked up, and everybody was like, what the fuck's Virgil? And it was like, oh, by the way, this is like
No, you're
set
correct,
before
I'm
everything
sorry.
else happened. Pardon? I am correct?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I thought there was 4. And Virgil rocks up, and, you know, it was a prequel, so everybody was confused about that. But it was nice that DMC Devil May Cry was just kind of fixing that stuff up and rearranging that story and putting a new angle on, you know. If I remember rightly, I don't think he knew who his dad was at the start. I can't remember that bit. I haven't played. It's on my list of games that I'll be future streaming is that game, because I think I have the remake on my Xbox now. But just everything about that game I love. I love that character. It's so cool.
Yeah. The character is one of the main reasons I was drawn to that game. I hadn't actually played any of the other DMC games. I'm continuing my thing of not playing iconic games, apparently. But that game drew me in because it's so, like, they've done such a fantastic job of just making it look so stylish, and the combat, like, I assume the other games were fantastic combat as well.
Yeah.
But like this one looks like it looks so cool, and I was like, all right, I'm in for this. And I really enjoyed the character, and I didn't find his cockiness or anything to be annoying. I actually found it pretty cool. I actually really thought his character was really cool, and having not played the other DMC games, when I got to the last boss and Virgil's like, you know, come with me, join my side, you know, which is equivalent of the bad side. I was actually like, oh fuck, I was actually surprised.
Yeah,
because I didn't know.
It's interesting. It's interesting to see that because as a DMC fan, I kind of knew it was building to that point. So that last boss battle was insane.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was so cool to actually, because in the other games you've never seen how their relationship came so messed up and everything.
Yeah.
So it was nice to see that have a realistic brotherly relationship and that build and everything for it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, sorry.
Sorry, no, you go ahead, Drew.
Because after I finished, I went to Bryce, and he's my mate Bryce, and he's pretty much played all the games. But holy fuck, Virgil turned out to be bad at the end of the games. Like, yeah, no shit, dude. he's the bad guy you versed in the other games. So I'm like, oh, there you go.
Yeah, I personally never played that version. Like, I think I played 1 and 2 on the PS2, but I remember being outraged at the DMC thing. Looking back in it, I have no idea why, other than being angry at it being changed for the sake of change.
How dare you change a character I think I played on 2 games in the PlayStation 2
I know I
era?
definitely played
How dare you?
1 and 2, but yeah.
How dare you change that character I think I love?
I loved his white hair. God damn it.
What can I say? Teenager. But yeah,
That's my new highlight of Nick's top 5.
it's not going to happen. Alright, my next character is Kratos. I understand.
Really?
Yes. I understand all the hate, or not so much hate, but like the people saying it's not great and all that kind of stuff. But for him, he represents to me rage personified. Like his family being killed, and him just being on a 5-game mission, 6-game mission to just get his revenge. And I only played the first 3 games, but just going through with him, just killing bigger and bigger things and bigger gods, working your way up the pantheon, and just, I don't know, it just portrays his rage in such a way that I connect with it. Like, I could feel his rage and kind of connect with him, how angry he was, just killing everyone, how he got tricked and what happened to his family and whatnot. Like, I can understand he's not, in the typical sense, a deep character or a terrific character, but just the way that he came across to me, I don't know, I connected with him, like, I know it sounds weird, but like a elemental level. Like, the closest way I can have an analog to it is like when I watched Logan, and he was just on a solitary mission, killing all the guys at the end. that were out to harm the kids. I don't know, it's just something about that sort of motivation gets me worked up, and just the way he does it in the game, like getting revenge for his family and his dead kid and his wife and whatnot. It's just I connected with for some reason.
I understand that. I think for me, the thing that turns me off Kratos a lot, which I'm excited about the new God of War because of it, is because the gameplay never captured me, because the gameplay always seemed like the same thing. Like, I have whirly swords on chains.
Yeah.
I'm going to spin around and hit people. Yeah. And I'm just like, doesn't interest me. I think there is a deeper complexity to that character that you don't see unless you really, think and almost philosophize about the character, because he is, the embodiment of pure rage, and rage hides a lot of things. Even just reading the backstory and the lore of God of War in many ways, and just all the shit that character goes through, just out of pure anger, shows that character has a lot of other emotions that he's struggling to deal with.
Definitely.
I think there is complexity to the character that people don't see because of how, basic the gameplay can be at times, that I'm excited about this new dynamic with this, this secondary character in the new God of War game that I'm interested to see.
And I'm really enjoying God of War. I think I've finished it by now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's already out. Oh, crap. I hope we enjoyed it. Maybe if I hated Kratos, just forget everything I said here. Just everything. Just forget about it. Just pretend Kieran didn't know what was about to come and just understand.
Do you have any analog or played any connection to Kratos?
Yeah, I've only dabbled in number 3. I feel like just with Kratos, his person, like it works for the game he's in, sort of just sort of like you're doing your button combinations, you're taking on these huge gods and beasts and all that, and I think it works for that game. But as far as a compelling character goes outside of that, like what we might be looking for something like Uncharted, where the game really relies on the story, I think he falls flat a bit on that, just because he is so one-dimensional.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I can understand his shortcomings. I don't know, it's just the way that I connected with him while playing those games that really just nestled its way into my consciousness.
Yeah, you Chrome domes really need to stick together.
Is that why?
And he's got a beard now, so...
He also has a beard now. He's trying to be more like you, Nick.
He got inspired by Top 5. Top 5 gods killed.
With the Kratos. Starts a podcast.
All right.
With my co-host, Penelope.
Calliope. All right, Drewby, what's your next character?
My next character is Kat from Gravity Rush. As soon as it was announced for Vita, I'm like, holy shit, this game looks cool. Been a fan of the Gravity Rush series since it came out, 2012. Kat, she isn't necessarily the most detailed character or whatever, but she's in the game. She's a lot of fun. She's bubbly. She's fun to control. Her abilities open up a lot of gameplay possibilities, especially in number 2, where you've got different powers. You can pick up people, objects. You could absolutely love that character. She's a lot of fun.
Is it the same Cat from Casper the Friendly Ghost movie?
Maybe.
No.
Maybe just reincarnated.
No.
Yeah, no. I've never played a Gravity Rush game. From what I understand, the gameplay doesn't interest me at all, and the visuals just never really caught my attention.
It's definitely very anime aesthetic. If you're not into that, well,
definitely.
Is Gravity Rush 2 worth going back and getting? Because I think it had a very almost cult release. Like it wasn't a huge thing that came out when it came out, but there was those who loved the game picked it up and enjoyed it. Is it something worth going back, and do I need to play the first one to understand it?
You don't need to play the first one. Well, because
Should I play the first one? Because they released it for the PlayStation 4, didn't they?
yeah, there's a
They
remastered
re-released
version.
that?
I'll probably say
Yeah, okay.
go straight to the second one because the second one is a lot better, built for the PS4.
Okay.
Straight up. So, it
Alright.
is worth playing again. It's just whether it's worth your how much time you've got.
Yeah, like it's something I would wait and see if it comes up on sale, which I probably
Kieran
just
does have
would have.
platinums to get, so
Yeah, and it was a game that interested me all the time. It looks like I remember seeing screenshots of there being some cool collectibles and stuff in that game. So
yeah, like the gameplay is super fun. Like it's like I guess you'd describe it as a superhero game. You're sort of flying around and you can, once you upgrade your abilities enough, you can have some like really cool combat situations.
yep.
okay.
I'll have to check that out, definitely. Because God knows I've got nothing else to play on the Vita.
It'll be dying.
Have to
It'll
be
dying.
cheap by now, surely too.
I'm sure it's been on PlayStation Plus before.
Yeah,
I think Gravity Rush might have.
yeah. Gravity
definitely.
Rush on Vita has been. Yeah.
Yeah, the first one.
Alright, Kieran, your next character.
Okay, it's time for my favorite villain in any game ever. Well, no, he doesn't count. I was going to say Mark Hamill's better, but no, Mark Hamill is the Joker. He's almost on par. But I enjoy this character. This is I'm talking about Handsome Jack from Borderlands 2. I love villains that you have a dialogue or even a one-way dialogue, like, the same with Joker in Arkham Asylum. You have a one-way dialogue with them just kind of yelling at you as you play through the game. I can always remember Borderlands 2 clicking for me the first time I heard there's like in the very first couple of hours there's a conversation line with Handsome Jack about his diamond horse called Butt Stallion. And it's just the smart-assness of this character and how cocky he is in this world where everything is under his control. It's just, he's so witty, he's so amazing, and then to have that character grow and be more explored in the pre-sequel and in the Tales of the Borderlands game it's so interesting that this character has sprouted off so much more. When Borderlands 1, it was Borderlands 1, and I cannot remember anybody mentioning the bad guy of that game. I cannot mention everybody. I can remember everybody loving Borderlands being this co-op shooter. But Borderlands 2 was the Handsome Jack show. That's why the game collection was called the Handsome Jack Collection, because this character is just so interesting and charismatic that it's tough not to love him. And just even how he's developed is just really well done.
I appreciated him in Tales from the Borderlands, but I feel like I've been robbed from more of him because I couldn't play Borderlands 2 to get his character. I don't have that backstory. The reason I couldn't play it is probably the number one reason, if I ever do a top 5 hated characters, is that fucking...
Oh, you can't.
Claptrap.
No, leave him alone.
Claptrap is the most
leave Claptrap
atrocious
alone.
thing to ever grace this planet.
You should. You know what? A Patreon tier is going to be a Twitch stream of Nick playing through Borderlands the pre-sequel, but you have to play as Claptrap.
Everyone I've talked to loves Claptrap.
I know. No, he is a very polarizing thing. It's either you love Claptrap or you hate Claptrap. One of my favorite missions in Borderlands 2 is Claptrap's pizza party. It's so great. It's so funny because nobody shows up. It's just...
That's pretty sad.
It's really sad,
Yeah.
but he's so funny. I'm disappointed by your dislike of Claptrap. I understand. Yep, I understand why you hate him. But yeah, no, you've definitely been robbed of Handsome Jack.
Do you have any feelings towards Handsome Jack, Drewby?
No, nothing that's hasn't been touched. I've only experienced the Telltale game, so that's I've got similar experiences.
People need to go back and play Borderlands 2. Add it to your lists, people.
Maybe I would have been more motivated to go back and play Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel if I'd played Tales from the Borderlands when it had come out, because I originally dismissed it because I wasn't interested in Borderlands as a story, and I thought this isn't for me. But going back and playing it many years later, was really missing out because Tales from the Borderlands is one of the best, if not the best, Telltale game.
Yeah. Borderlands 1 was not really a big thing for me.
No.
But the character and the personality, I can remember the summer Borderlands 2 came out. I went on holiday to Gold Coast with friends, and we were in love with the Scooter character, which I don't know if you'd run into in Borderlands 2, but his catchphrase is, "Ooh, catch a ride!" Or there was...
From,
Yeah, and you the first time you encounter him in Borderlands, you walk up to one of his terminals, and he's like, "Whoa, unauthorized user up in my grill!" And I remember every time we went to roller coaster rides and stuff in the Gold Coast, and every time somebody went on to press a button to activate a roller coaster, we would say that out loud at the top of our voice, and they would look at us so weird, But it's just such a quotable game, and I was, for this spot, it was between Scooter and Handsome Jack, because both characters are amazing, and Scooter makes me so sad. Poor Scooter!
Alright. My next one is Geralt from the Witcher series. Now, I had a lot of internal conflict with introducing Geralt into my list, because in my mind, he's more of a literary character than a video game character, because I think a lot of my feelings towards him come from the book series, where the games have just expanded upon that.
Yeah.
But I think he's just... because he is in a game and part of one of the best characters in games, I think he ended up on my list. Just... I don't think I could say a bad word about him. He's... To help
you justify it, did you find Geralt through the games and then went to the books?
Correct.
So that's justification. You found him because of gaming.
Yeah,
so
and I did the same thing with
acceptable.
Red too, because I used the manga and the anime as a reference for him as well. So
yeah, but yeah, I think he's just one of the most well-written characters in games, best voice acted. Just his dry humour, the way that you can interact with other characters in the game, and he doesn't have bad dialogue, and no matter what choice you pick, it's always, you can feel it's something him as a character would say. There's no obvious right or wrong choice you can do with him as well.
Even today, even though I only played a small portion of that game, and I've played a lot more of it now through streaming on twitch.tv/Explosion Network the last couple of weeks, but, I can close my eyes and hear Roach as that stupid horse comes out of the nowhere and gets stuck somewhere. But the beauty about Geralt as a character, especially in the video game form, is, and it's probably one of the reasons I like a lot of characters, because it's your version of Geralt.
Yes.
It's not, it's not a set in stone, single story linear playthrough game where it's telling you Geralt's story. It's what is your Geralt? How does your Geralt decision make? Does your Geralt love Triss? Does he love Yennefer? Is he gonna, try and get with both and get screwed over in the end? There's a whole lot to that character in the terms of character growth and the decisions you make in that game.
Yep.
And it's interesting, especially Witcher 3, because Witcher 3 is not Geralt's story.
No.
It's really not. Overall, it's not. It's about...
Ciri.
I can't remember her name. Ciri. Sorry, I've been playing too much. It just kind of clogs my brain. It's about Ciri, and to see Geralt take on this very different role that he had compared to what he played in Witcher 1 and 2...
Yep.
Makes the game very interesting to play through.
And I think what also makes him such a great character is the games that he is in as well, because the games are such story-rich that a lot of the rewards for the quests are not traditional game rewards, as in you get more money or you get better loot or get better gear, where you do get it, but a lot of the main rewards you get from doing quests are story rewards. It furthers the story, or it helps you grow your character, or just the way the world interacts with you and stuff like that. It's not like a typical Skyrim where you go clear out a cave of X amount of bandits and you come back and you get a pouch full of money and, I don't know, another better piece of armor or anything like that. I think a lot of it has to do with the games around him as well.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of weight to the decisions in that game.
Yes.
Even like the minor decisions you make about a side quest. I can remember a side quest about a dwarf in the first town where you find out who's been stealing from him.
Yep.
And the choice that you make there, even though it's probably a very, on face value, it's a very normal choice of video game morality. Do you hand in the thief? Do you, what do you do? But it has very grave circumstances around it, and the results of that choice are very, I think it leads to the guy being hanged or something happening with the dwarf and nobody buys.
Yeah.
Oh, no, the guy gets hanged but nobody buys from the dwarf anymore.
Yeah.
Because he snitched and sold out this guy.
Yeah.
So
Very morally grey world.
yes.
Yeah, like just going
This
back
is
to
where
those
Drewby
sides.
says he hasn't played it.
No, I've played Witcher 3.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, he's done it. He's done it. By George, he's got it.
Hallelujah.
I didn't by any means finish it, but I played a fair bit of it.
That's all right.
Yeah, just the side quest. It's probably the most impressive side quest in any game. Like, and as you said, I think that is what adds to his character. The one of the side quests I remember the most is just when you go down the well looking for that girl, and yeah, it's just it's crazy. Like a lot of other characters wouldn't have, I guess, opportunities to sort of flesh themselves out as much as he does. In like the Witcher being as long as it is and as many DLCs and all that put on top of it, he's got a lot of time to sort of get to know him as well.
Yeah, definitely.
To play cards.
Yeah.
Fancy a round of Gwent.
No, never again.
God, Kieran.
Nick, you excited for him to take his place in the front cover of Soul Calibur 6?
I don't know. It's, yeah, I don't know.
That's a resounding
such a weird
yes.
thing. Yeah, I haven't formed an opinion on that yet. Only because I've never thought about it before now.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess. Yeah.
If anything, if it introduces more people to the world of The Witcher, I'm happy. Alright, Drewby, what is your last character?
My last character is Link from The Legend of Zelda. All of the incarnations of him.
I was going to say, are we picking a particular version here? Which timeline of Zelda are we going with?
all
Is
of
that
them
who you
because-
rescue when you play as Zelda?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
You play as the princess with the hair, and you
Yeah.
gallivant the land. No, Link, once again, he's a silent protagonist, and you're pretty much putting yourself into him. When I was a kid, I used to call him Drew. Now it just seems really dumb having a Link called Drew. I don't know why they even give you the option. I think in Breath of the Wild, did they not give you?
They don't give you the
Yeah,
option.
so-
They give you the option to change the name of the save file, I think, but
Yeah,
that's about
so
it.
that's good. Like, just keep him as Link because he's Link. I guess with it being voice acted too, that's why they would have changed that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yep.
Oh, actually, what I would have liked in Breath of the Wild is if they had a sort of like the on the computer where you put in a word and it just says it. So it's like Zelda's talking and it just goes Drew.
No, that'd be terrible.
It'd be like those wrestling games where you create custom intros and you can tell it's just separate words put together, like Drew, the enforcer.
Yeah.
And it sounds so terrible. I liked the Breath of the Wild version of the Link. I'm gonna call him the Link from now on. That sounds badass. The Link. No, I like that version because there is an actual history to that character. Like there is that, that history to that character and his relationship with Zelda, or how he is with the other champions and stuff like that. There's a lot of memories tied there that make me understand the character a lot more, where a lot of the other games, Link is a very blank slate. He's kind of just this blank slate that for some reason is completely enamored with this with this princess, and they're for some reason their destinies are tied together, so they always end up together and whatever. But it's nice to have a character have a bit more fleshing out to him instead of just being this blank slate that all of a sudden wakes up near the Deku tree.
Yep.
Like, it's cool when my favorite Link is probably the one from Twilight Princess, just because of, I guess, I really like looking back on it now, the graphics are obviously very dated, but back then the art style was, I think, was really cool. Just how it was, I guess, a bit more realistic, I guess. But how it all ties together is like you can learn skills from, I don't know, I forgot what it's called now, but it's a wolf you can find, not the wolf you turn into, but and
Is
that the one that
remember.
come out on both GameCube and Wii?
yeah.
Yes.
And basically, the guy who teaches you the skills is the Link from Ocarina of Time.
Oh, really?
Isn't he called like the white? Isn't he called like the White Wolf or something like that?
Yeah, he looks like a dingo, actually.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Because he turns into like I remember like his because he has another form, doesn't he? Where he's like an armored guy, if I remember. Maybe not.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's been a long time.
Yep.
But yeah, and I also like how they pretty much just mold the character into the game they're trying to make as well. So like Wind Waker back in the day, it was completely different to what you saw in the original Zelda and Ocarina of Time, especially how they wanted it to be a bit more whimsical. So they made the character younger and and
you have the ugly duckling Majora's Mask Link.
yeah.
It's just what's even with that guy?
Well, he's the same Link as
Yeah, I don't.
Ocarina of Time.
He's the same Link as Ocarina Link, but
You don't
yeah,
like him
but
either.
still.
Not your boy.
I don't know. I just have Majora's Mask is a weird place in my heart that it scared me as a kid,
Okay.
and I don't think I've ever gotten around that.
I think it frustrated me because I could never they could never work it out, the 3-day thing, as a kid.
Mm. Yeah, it is a bit like if you haven't played it before, it's a bit tricky. Just like, all right, what do I do now? It's like you've got to wait for this time for this person to be here, and you've got to talk to them, and yeah.
I can appreciate that having an impression on you as a character, but for me, I don't know. The things I remember about the Zelda games I've played are not the Link itself, but the games and the worlds and the bosses and the dungeons where. In my personal memories, Link doesn't really come into it a lot. Like, granted I've only played Ocarina, Majora's Mask, and Breath of the Wild, but yeah, I don't know. Link doesn't really come into it for me personally.
Yeah, I guess he's when you're playing the games, obviously he is just silent and doesn't do much apart from go oh yeah and whatever. But when you get into that, bullshit timeline stuff, and you're like, okay, what's the relationship between all these? And especially in Skyward Sword, when that game was the first in the timeline, you're like, all right, so how, especially when you find out like why Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf always get reincarnated in some fashion, it was really interesting. It's like, okay, so it all makes sense, and like as I said, the Twilight Princess Link being taught by the previous Ocarina of Time Link, and how it's.
I had no idea that. That just blew my mind hearing that.
It did when I first found it too, because if you look closely, I forgot what detail it is, but there's matching details, like he's got the same sword and whatever from the previous game.
I'll have to download that on the Switch. What's the arcade games? Virtual Console.
Yeah, when it comes out.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Are you making fun of the Nintendo and its pull backwards compatibility library? Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm not at all. All right, I want to add my favorite version of Link is the early '90s cartoon version.
Oh, it looks terrible. I hate the art style. Hate the art style when I look at it. It looks so dopey.
Excuse me, princess.
Best version of Link, hands down. All right, Kieran, your next character is Navi.
Hey, listen! No. Fuck that. I wish I could squish that fairy. No. My next and final character fills me with pride for being an Australian. He is a ball-tampering mastermind. He is a fantastic character in everything he does. He fills me with pride. The first time I heard him say cobber in a video game, I was amazed. Talking as Nick puts his head in his hand. As I'm talking about Junkrat from Overwatch, people. Sorry, viewers, audio listeners, because there's only audio. Nick just went on an adventure as I built that up. Nick went on a confused adventure of who's he talking about? What's going on? And the moment I said the common line, I saw the click, and he was disappointed. He was disapproving. It was everything, but
Look, it's your personal list, and I can't judge you on your own feelings.
you can't judge me. But I love Junkrat so much.
Halfway through, I thought you were about to say Crash Bandicoot when you said Australian.
Crash Bandicoot, no, no,
How's the
I
tiger?
wish. No, it's no, because Junkrat. If anybody doesn't know, I'm slightly mad about Overwatch, and Junkrat's my favorite character in the game, because for two reasons. One, the character itself and its mechanic, it's just the most annoying, obnoxious character in the world. Like, just the fact that people die and that you weren't really trying to kill them. There was no accuracy to it. You just lobbed a grenade over a wall and they died. Or, you know, they die and they don't know where it came from. It's just so great. It's so much fun. But the lore behind that character is amazing. It's so good that Australians were just so stupid in this world. Pretty much the lore behind Australia is it turned into Mad Max after robots took over, started to take over Australia. And so the way the Australians dealt with it is they walked up to the base of the place and nuked it, but also nuked the rest of the country.
Whoops.
And what was left are these mental Mad-esque characters, and just this little Junkrat who's, missing a leg, but is crazy, but is also a genius. He's just so fantastic. As I said, the first time I heard him say, "Thanks, Cobber," I was like, oh my god, Cobber's in a video game! It said it! He said it! This is so cool! And the fact that he has an Australian cricket team skin that fires cricket balls at people makes me so happy about everything in my life.
Are they going to update it so it's got sandpaper in it?
No, because I can guarantee that he tampered with those balls already. He's like, I swear, that guy, David Warner, and the other one, the one that cried, they played Overwatch before that game. They saw it and they were like, this is what we got to do to win. I was surprised that cricket ball didn't get turned into a grenade. I told you that we like to break Nick on this show. I have done it today.
Nick, he has a blood nose from how hard he just facepalmed. Jesus.
I will say, Junkrat is at the top of my list. It was the first name I wrote down.
I don't know. Granted, you are more invested in the lore of Overwatch, but to me, they're just characters you choose to play as in a multiplayer shooter. They have no bearing on me as a character at all. Yeah,
I guess when you've like we said with Red and stuff,
yeah,
it's a character that you can take it at face value. This is some crazy shit that just throws bombs and has a tire that drives and then blows up. But if you dig a bit further and start reading stuff, there's more of the character to love. There's a map called Junkertown in Overwatch, and there's a whole storyline in there underneath it about Roadhog and Junkrat and how they got thrown out of Junkertown by the Junk Queen. And I think, is it Junker Queen or Road Queen? No. But there's just there's a lot of little things, and it's a normal thing for Overwatch that you can take that game at face value very easily, but there's a lot of stuff deeper in that. There's a lot of stuff to dig through and find and grow love for characters. And
I think that's one of my main gripes with Overwatch is that I don't include any of that, what I've been told is fantastic backstory and lore, into the game itself.
They don't, obviously. They do with stuff like the lore event that comes up every once a year on the anniversary of Overwatch being released. So that should be happening right now, or it's already happened. But that happens, but then also, if you look around the maps and you've watched all the cinematics, they released in Pixar-level cinematics, pretty much. And if you look around maps that those cinematics are based on, you can find lots of little, head nods and explanations for things. And there's a lot of little things in dialogues. It's not, the lore the lore of that game isn't something that they're you don't need to know the lore to play the game. Just play the game. But if you love the game, there's a lot to search for in comic books and
It's like
stories
Destiny
and
1 where you had to
articles.
go onto the app to read the grimoires.
Well, no, it's nothing like Destiny 1.
Yeah, do you have any feelings towards Junkrat, Drew?
No, not particularly.
No.
I don't play much Overwatch, but yeah, I've heard things just like people getting trolled by Junkrat and stuff like that, and it is cool that there's
Hell yeah.
it is cool that there is an Australian representative in the game.
There's two, isn't there?
Yeah, and it's just because Roadhog's Australian as well, but just the fact that because he's totally bogan Australian and just stuff like there's little nods in the game, like there was winter skins released in winter in the US last year, but during that time Junkrat had a skin, but Junkrat's skin was a summer skin because while it's their winter, it's our summer, so he had a summer skin come out.
Cool.
And so that, like, just little things like that, there's a lot of little details that they, the biggest thing that was outraged was the fact that in Junkertown, which is set in Australia,
Ask about this, yeah.
it had a sign for takeaway, and everybody was angry because everybody's like, no, it would not be called a takeaway in Australia. Change it right now. And
Wasn't it
like
something
Blizzard
else
went
and
and
they
changed.
changed it to takeaway?
Pardon?
Wasn't it called something else and they changed it to takeaway?
Yeah, it was
Really?
It was take out.
I
and
think
they
it was
changed to
dine out
take
or
away.
something.
Oh, it was take out
Yeah.
or dine out or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, sorry, and then he got changed to takeaway. Sorry, that's me getting mixed up. But yes,
Now,
Junkrat.
everyone
best
tweet
character.
at Viva La Dill that he would love Tracer.
Please do. He gets so he just gets confused.
Alright, my last character, which would come at no surprise if you know me at all, is Solid Snake from Metal Gear series. As I've told the story before, I grew up with the Metal Gear series and just being attached to Snake and his story throughout the years of just at first being a puppet, then going out on his own, fighting against the Patriots and everything they do, like being a philanthropist, taking down nuclear armed Metal Gears and PMCs and trying to bring
I like the
back
bit where he
individuality of people, because of how crazy that storyline goes with his brother, his like clone brothers and whatnot, and it's just the ultimate selfless sacrifice that his whole life has been not his own. It's always been working to help other people. It's just, I don't know, it's an inspiring character to me, and the only video character that has made me legitimately cry in a video game as well. I don't know, it's just skyrocketed up there for me.
the whole Snake thing is the most confusing shit in the world. When I realized that oh, just so you know, the snake in Phantom Pain, that's not Solid Snake. That's
a thing for me.
It's Big Boss.
No,
it's
not.
Big Boss, and that's Venom Snake, and you're like, what? What do you mean? And there's Solid Snake and Liquid Snake, and they're both clones of this guy. And there's Solid Snake isn't really in number 2, and number 3 you don't play as
He's
Solid
in 2.
Snake again. He is in 2, but later because you play as Raiden for most of the game.
I don't know, he's in it a fair bit.
Yeah, but you don't it's not obvious to him for a while, is it? Because it's
pretty obvious.
So
to
I remember playing the demo, and the demo was you were playing a Solid Snake on a boat.
Yeah, so
And
the way I
then-
saw Metal Gear 2 is that demo section is the beginning of the game, then it goes through the title credits, and then it does the Raiden reveal. But Snake is introduced into the game pretty early on as a secondary character. Like you Raiden the character doesn't know, but you as the player, it's very obvious of who he is.
And then there's also things of apparently Solid Snake's in the game of Phantom Pain or some shit, and I'm like,
No, Liquid Snake is.
what? Oh, Liquid Snake is, Solid isn't. It's just Kojima. Just you need to your dealer's got some weird stuff in their supplies. Just dipping into the vat too many times, my friend.
Don't listen to Kieran. He has a Kojima bias. He hates Kojima.
Yeah, just listening to people trying to explain Metal Gear Solid is just
Yeah.
sounds like a waste of time. Just don't
Amen.
even try.
Amen. You know what? I'd like to have 2 people sit down. One of them, you try and explain Metal Gear. You over here, you try and explain the Zelda timelines. Okay, go. Just see who gets frustrated first because
I think
it'll be the Metal Gear person.
I think Metal Gear has to be a very time and place thing to experience the stories as they're released and as they're happening, because if you try to go into it now with everything released and just trying to be explained everything at once, it's very in over your head. But whereas if you're experiencing it as Kojima is explaining it to the player, it makes a lot more sense, I think.
Yeah, just going back to the Zelda timeline, at least the Zelda timeline, it's, if you write it out, it's got a fork which narrows down to just one. Whereas, would you be able to write down on a piece of paper, just like, this is the timeline, this is what happens?
I think you can, but there's just a lot of weird stuff. Like, how exactly did Tom Brady and the New England Patriots really get into this whole game?
All right, that's been this episode of Top 5 with Nick, where we discuss top 5 stories. Our guest today, Kieran Marchant. You can find him.
You can find me at your boy Ringo, probably not on 100% of this episode of this show anymore.
You can find Drew at, and whatever you do, plug all that for us, please.
You can find me at iDrewby on Twitter, and I do a Nintendo podcast with my best mate Bryce called The House of Mario. We talk about Nintendo games. We have guests on from the community, stuff like that. We have a lot of fun doing it, and yeah.
It's a fantastic podcast. Guys. Go check it out.
The one disappointing one was you had Dylan on at one point. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Apparently, you somehow talked about trophies on your podcast. I'm just
shitting all over the Wii U.
It's just
no.
But I heard. I forgot what show it was, but Dylan, he said, I said to Drew's face that the Wii U was a piece of crap, and his face was.
I think it was on Platt.
Yeah.
I think it was on Platt.
I was listening to that, and I was just like, wait a minute. I agreed with you. I wasn't offended.
Dylan likes to embellish things just to his own. Sometimes he says that he's the host of Platinum Explosion.
Not when you kill him, no.
Well, I haven't done that. I've never done. Well,
he come back from the
we
dead
don't really
at one
know
point.
if the. Well, is he really the same Dylan?
I don't know. Is this Metal Gear Solid? Is that what's really going on here?
He is semi-solid Dylan.
Semi-solid Dylan.
Fucking hell. You can
flaccid Viva la Deal. Yes.
Oh my God. You can let us know what you think. Email and tweet us show description, show themes and topics that you want to hear about at Explosion Network on Explosion Pod on Twitter, and don't at explosionnetwork.com. You can rate and review us on iTunes. That'd be fantastic. If you don't have iTunes, or if you want to help out in another way, you can spread us around by word of mouth, because we don't do much advertising other than our socials. So just getting the word out there, telling your friends who might like it, does us a world of wonders.
Get a sandwich board.
Yeah, put it on your bulletin board at work too.
Look, I will pay somebody $5 to stand on a main highway, like spinning one of those boards maybe once. Like, I would pay to see that. Like, I'll make it, like, you can be dressed as a penguin as well. $5.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Tweet at me.
You can follow all our other shows at explosionnetwork.com and find us on twitch.tv/explosionnetwork. Thank you all, and that's it for another episode.
Do 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 do.